Hi. Mwah. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Thank you so much for seeing me. I really appreciate it. I want to show you some pictures that I brought today of my great-grandma.
Oh.
And that's her.
She looks really happy, and the children look very happy.
I know.
That's
He's cute, isn't he?
Lovely pram.
It looks like a box with wheels. It looks like a toy, doesn't it? So I would really love to know more about my great-grandma's life.
Have a look at this. This is a 1911 census.
I take it this is her family. There she is. That's her name.
That's Leonor.
Ophelia. That's my great-grandma's maiden name. So she was 4-year-old. And then obviously she was the youngest when this was taken. So it starts here. Miguel Ophelia. It's 49. What does that say?
The head of the family.
Oh.
Which?
Oh, so that's my great-grandma's dad. He would be my great-great-grandfather. Occupation, groom.
Yes, a groom.
So he looked after horses.
He looked after horses. This would be a very much a working class job.
Yeah.
Cleaning after horses, grooming them, keeping them fit, making sure that they were fed, keeping the stables clean. There'd be many stables around Gibraltar in the city centre.
Yeah.
I mean, not only because of horse-drawn carriages, but because we also had a fox hunt in Gibraltar.
So there was a fox hunt in Gibraltar?
From the early 19th century up until the Second World War. It was a big thing because Gibraltar is British, of course, and very British at that.
The hunt was an important social event in Gibraltar. Miguel's work as a groom would have made him familiar with such British customs. Yet, like most Gibraltarians at the time, he would speak Spanish with his family at home.
So what else? Religion. Miguel was obviously a Roman Catholic, and so was the rest of the family.
Yes, Roman Catholic is a predominant religion, and their education would have been a church education.
Right, okay.
So it is likely that Leonor's education was in Spanish, because a lot of the priests would have come over from Spain.
I find it so interesting. I remember my great-grandma, when I was little, she only spoke Spanish. I can't remember speaking a word of English. My mum said that as well. She, especially in her later years, she didn't communicate in English at all.
Jennifer is taking Michelle to visit her great-grandmother Leonor's childhood home.
So how old are these buildings then?
They date back to the 19th century, a lot of them.
The street the Ophelias lived on was in a working-class area in the uppermost part of the town.
Lime kiln steps.
Yes, there was a lime kiln in this area at the top.
Limestone.
Burning limestone to create quicklime.
Like cement?
Yeah.
Is that what most of the buildings are made up of?
Lime.
Around here?
Yes, yes. And that would have had a great impact on the families living here, in close proximity of really an industrial process.
Because of the
exacerbated
heat, pollution, the dust, and obviously because it's at the top of the rock as well.
Yes.
It would drift down.
Yes.
Throughout Leonor's childhood, the family rented small apartments here on Limekiln steps.
So like doorways everywhere.
Yes. And over here you'll see as well.
It's number 4.
Yeah.
It's in here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so small. So how many people lived here?
Well, we know that 19 people lived there.
19 people? Oh, it's tiny.
Leonor lived in one of the upper apartments with her parents, 3 older brothers and an older sister.
You can imagine all the kids playing around and knocking on for each other. I bet it was so loud.
So loud.
Here. People in and out, crossing up and down all day, every day. Wow.
And the conversations taking place from one window to the other.
Oh, yes.
In Gibraltar, we refer to it as patio culture, because a lot of these tenements for working class families did have a central courtyard where a lot of the activities, the community activities, as you say, between people would take place.
And I know, like, how my grandma was when, obviously, when she was alive. She had the door open 24/7. all the time. And I suppose this is what it was like here as well.
Yes.
I just wish I could go back in time.
Yes.
And like sort of living a day in the life here, just to feel it.
Just around the corner is the family's local church, the Sacred Heart.
So I take it they would have been here every Sunday morning as a family.
Every Sunday
Mass.
morning, every holy day of obligation. This would have been a focal point for the family, and every family living
About
over
to say,
here.
and the whole community would have come
Yes.
here. It's a beautiful church. Yes. I have a picture actually.
Oh.
That I found of my great-grandma on her wedding day.
Oh my goodness.
Do you think that would have been in this church?
No, I'm afraid not.
No. Why?
Leonor would have certainly expected to have married inside the Sacred Heart Church, but she didn't. She did not marry here. So this is Leonor's marriage certificate.
Wow. Oh, she got married the 29th of August, 1932. She was 24. Charles Stewart Wiltshire was 25. Married in the Wesleyan Methodist Church. Obviously, my great-grandma was Roman Catholic. Charles, my great-grandfather, he was Church of England.
Church of England.
So he couldn't get married in a Roman Catholic church.
Well, and this was a mixed marriage, at the time known as a mixed marriage. And so your parish priest tells you, you can't do this is wrong.
But I said that she rebelled and she got married for love.
She must have.
Which is a nice thing.
She must have, because it would have been very hard for her to go against the opinion of the church.
Yeah.
Leonor chose love, I think, over...
I love that. So it all sort of makes sense now, because when my mum showed me this picture, she did say that my great-grandma and my great-granddad didn't like to be apart.
Yes, they look like a beautiful family, but let me tell you that by 1940 the family would have been torn apart. Like every other family in Gibraltar was torn apart at the time.
Why?
Because of the Second World War and the evacuation of the civilian population of Gibraltar. The military establishment in Gibraltar was preparing Gibraltar to function as a fortress, as a military fortress. So having civilians in Gibraltar posed all sorts of problems.
During World War II, Gibraltar was of vital strategic importance. Its location gave Britain and her allies control of naval traffic between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic Ocean, and it became a target for enemy bombs. All regular life on the rock was suspended, and civilians required to leave. Leonor and her 3 children, including Michelle's grandmother, were among 16,000 women, children, and elderly citizens evacuated.
So my great-grandfather stayed in Gibraltar in the war.
Yes, and so Charles would have remained as an electrician. He would certainly had an important role to play within the war effort in Gibraltar.
And my grandmother and the kids went off somewhere else.
They went off somewhere else.
Where did they go?
Some were sent to Madeira, others to Jamaica, and some families went to London.
I didn't know that. For the whole war, they were separated.